Hello everyone, my name is Akerele Oluwashogo. I'm your data analyst. Today I'm going to teach you how to use Power Query to get data and also to transform data in Excel. How to use Power Query to get data and also to transform data in Excel. What do I mean by transforming data? I mean how to clean your data and manipulate your data with a Power Query. So this morning I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. Okay, all right. This is my Excel file. This is a new Excel file that I just opened. So what I need to do, I need to go to my data tab. Under the data tab, you see a button called new query. It's under the get and transform group. So click on the new query. So when you click on the new query, so you have a lot of sources where you can get your query from. So I'll click on file and I pick CSV because I have a file saved as CSV, which means comma separated value file. So I click on CSV to pick the data where I have it saved on my system. So it will take me to where I have my CSV file on my laptop. So I click on laptop save. This is the file I want to work on. So I click on the laptop save and I click on import to import it later. So you give it some few seconds to establish a connection between your file. Please wait while we establish a connection to the laptop save CSV file. So we'll give it a few seconds for it to connect to your file. So this is my data. You can see my data now is, so I have my data already. So I'll click on transform data. So I click on transform data to take it directly to the Power Query editor. So I click on transform data. So it's loading into the Power Query editor. So let's give a few seconds. So I have my data. This is my data that I'm working with. My data. You can see the data that I'm working with. Look at the column title. I have the transaction date, the product, the price, the payment type, the name of the city, the city, country. I also have the country. I also have the account created, last login. These are online saves data that I'm working with as an example. So now if we look at my data very well, I can analyze this data without do some manipulation on the data first. Under the transaction date, I have the date and the time together with the AM. So I only want to work with the date, not the time. So all I need to do is to split the data into two columns or three columns and delete the one I don't need and keep the one that I need. I'll leave the date. So I have to keep the date. So what I need to do first is to split the data into two columns. So I'll click on the transaction date and I'll go to a button called split column. So I click on the drop down arrow, and how do I want to split my column? By delimiters. What do you mean by delimiters? Delimiter means separators. So if you look at the data very well, there's space between the date and the time. So I'm going to use by delimiter. And the delimiter I want it to be is a comma. So I pick by delimiter. So specify the delimiter used to split the text column. Select or enter delimiter. So I click on the drop down arrow and pick my delimiter, which is, and I click on OK. So I'll pick out. So you can see my data now, it has been imported into Excel as a table. So if you still need to do any manipulation on your data, if you still want to do any manipulation on your data, you see the button called query tools. It's still showing here. When you click on the query tools, it can still take you back to the query editor. If you click on the query tool, it will just take you back to the query editor for you to still do any manipulation you want to do on your data. I can still go to edit. So now I'll click on my table tools. So I have the data as a table in Excel, So if I want to use pivot table now, I'll just go to my tools group and I see a button called summarize with pivot table. Summarize with pivot table. So I click on it. Where I want my report to be, I will click on a new worksheet. So I click on OK. I click on OK. So you can see my report is in. You can see now this is the pivot table report. So my pivot table, I click on the products. I want the list of the products. I take this my feed. All the product will show, and I also want the count of the products. So I will drag product to the value feed, which will show me all the count of the products. So I will right click to sort the products, sort it from the largest to smallest. You can see it will sort it for me. So this is pivot table. So I have my pivot table choose on top of my ribbons. On top of my ribbons, I will click on analyze and I go to my pivot chart to pick my visuals for the table. So if I want it to be in a column chart, I'll pick column. But if I want it to be in the bar chart, I'll pick bar chart and I click on OK. And I click on OK. So this is the bar chart.